Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Refracted Curvature, Neil, Arwin, Adam Meakin, who did I miss? Righteous Force, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Greetings,
Hello.
Greetings everyone.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, welcome one and all.
Hello, hello.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Any evidence you can have a curved adjacent whilst acquiring an elevation angle?
AutoCAD says no.
Did I fill in the audience on what he's talking about? I think I will, because there was a prolonged silence. Rob Durham has passed on a video to Adam, which was shared with me and 10th Man last night, and he's basically going through the claims that we've been making recently in regards to that most recent housekeeping question that's only been aired 3 days so far, and demonstrating with AutoCAD precisely what we're saying in terms of where'd you get your 90 and you can't have a curved adjacent. He also transposes the Mercator projection, which would be used to acquire circles, that's 2D, of equal elevation, to actually perform triangulation to figure out where you are on that map. After doing so, he then transposes that back onto the globe and shows how you no longer have circles. You have teardrop shapes with points at the ends of them, further away you go from the equator. It's devastating. Now, as it stands, 2 issues I have. One, he's got someone else's video in there, so I've aired it in the pre-show, and I will check if it does flag any copyrights, but if not, I'll play it on tomorrow's live show. With his permission, which he has given us. But like I say, I just want to check it's not going to flag anything, because I don't want to have to pull the video down for any reason after we've gone to great lengths to discuss it. Given that it has been discussed for the panel's sake in the pre-show, we will discuss it further after housekeeping, but for the meantime, any evidence of physical geometric sphere edge horizons, formerly known as Earth curvature?
Go with a no then.
Pretty
If the
fundamental stuff.
horizon-
Earth curve.
If the horizon isn't geometric, how can it dictate the geometry of Earth?
It can't, and it doesn't. Earth is not a sphere. We would have to have a geometric limitation, or Earth curve edge horizon, if we were, and we don't. We're not on a sphere. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Gonna need half for that, Nathan.
That it? That's all we're going to... Let's just draw close to the question, I suppose. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? It's okay, Adam, you can say it again.
You're gonna need half of that.
Fair enough. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
That centre would be defined by R, wouldn't it?
Somebody asked me to go over the Curie point in one of the comments. I think it might have even been one of my Patreons, so I better answer the question. When we say self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth doesn't really need any clarification. But Adam, if you would, why would we add in that terminology about self-perpetuation in this regard?
Well, fundamentally, the Curie point is the point where it describes the collapse within ferric, within iron, of how the magnetic field collapses. Magnetic field's generated by the alignment and the same. For all the poles of the ions to be aligned in one way, that's what's creating a magnetic field within the crystalline lattice. So when you then turn it molten, that is where the point of the field just disappears, because no longer are the atoms held within a crystalline lattice. They're now starting to move freely like they would be in a liquid. So no longer is this alignment match with all of the things. So you get the dissolution of the field basically at this point. That's how that.
Or to put it in a more succinct way, you wouldn't have a molten iron field beyond the Curie point of that particular metal.
Yeah, because that's what the Curie point's describing, the dissolution, where things are no longer all lined up together because they're no longer held in that orientation.
Okay, but there are certain...
the phrase would be, it becomes in... See, they've still all got their own little fields, but the correct phrase is that it becomes incoherent, is what's happening. So,
okay, but there are certain circumstances where you can get something beyond the Curie point, in this case molten iron, to still generate a field, right?
I don't think they've managed to do it with iron. The only kind of lab-based stuff that I've seen is I think was with lithium. They managed to maintain. I mean, it was under pressure and all sorts of extra stuff that was maintaining it, but they took it past that Curie point and then was able. But as my memory serves, I don't think it's ever been, or it's even postulated as possible in iron.
Perfect answer. So you've covered all bases. That hopefully is enough to satisfy the person that was asking me to detail it, because we tend to brush past the molten iron core because it's so farcical. But it's nice to get a bit of technical information from yourself, Adam. Very concise, very detailed. Thank you very much. Anybody want to add anything on the molten iron core question?
Need Tony for that, don't you?
Yes and no. I mean, he's good. He's about as concise as you when it comes to detailing it.
Are we not still waiting on Paul Voigt's research on this? From like 5 years ago?
I was going to say from about 2016.
Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, I think he claimed something like there's obviously physical evidence of the self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. We're just too stupid to understand it. And then Anthony asked him to produce it. Did that ever happen?
And he's like, I'll be right back. 6 years later, it disappeared completely.
Yeah, right.
They're getting a bit of a to-do list, aren't they, the ballers? You've got Rumpus's projects still to be finished. So seems to be a theme, doesn't it? When you get to the point where they could go ahead and prove some of their assertions, they don't.
All of a sudden, colds and
You stop
pandemics
calling,
and
you
all
stop
types of stuff. You know, you start losing your geometric horizon. All of a sudden, you got no flat plate to measure or a sextant on a ball. Like, it's crazy. All types of craziness happens when you say, "Hey, I got proof of this." Yep.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
Well, you know what? When I was in school...
Beginning of every great horror story.
I'm referring back to that guy a couple of days ago who was actually here looking for Bitcoin, as opposed to the lie told us about here to be educated in flat Earth. After having gravity ripped to shreds and some of his own quotes given back to him, he then went on to reappeal to it by saying, well, I was taught in school that gravity, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, he didn't get to do that. because it was the third time, in case anyone thinks I'm unreasonable. So yeah, when I was in school, they told me it was a force that held us to the ground and we'd fly off if it wasn't for it.
You can't cite your school education as proof. Although he was trying. Although, as I remember, he was citing his education, but when we discussed elastic or the way gas molecules behave, he was reverting back to, oh, it sounds like his school teacher was Hillbilly Blue Balls, doesn't it?
Or a pool player, because he was talking about billiards.
Yeah, it's the same old Thunderfoot ascribed gas go down, go boom boom. Well, gas behaves like these bouncy balls. Gas behaves like billiard balls. You throw one in the air and it comes back down.
On a parabolic flight.
Yeah. You wave your hands in the air and whatever gas that you bash out of the way with your arms, it's just going to come straight back down again. That's what they're saying.
They do that. I was going to say they do that because they're homesick. You know, they got to make sure that there's no Coriolis to observe. So they have to keep up with Earth's rotation so they don't, don't want to be home.
The first law of thermodynamics violation. Their assertion after the fact, after the globe belief that you've got a 15 degrees an hour drift that doesn't manifest, that we point out doesn't manifest. They say we wouldn't expect to see drift, and as a consequence of that, they have to claim that the Earth and atmosphere all move together without containment. Well, if that was the case, then a gas would have to leave the ground. It's no longer in any way associated or attached to it, but it's going to increase its velocity with respect to the ground to keep up with it. Ever increasing that velocity as it goes higher, because the radial value, therefore the circumferential distance it's going to have to travel, will increase as it increases in altitude. First law of thermodynamics violation.
Super rotation.
Well, gas doesn't have an association with the ground it's no longer attached to, but in their fantasy world that they have to engineer after they've been shown we don't have Coriolis deflection, proving we spin. Here you go, we're supposed to have this 15 degrees an hour drift. It doesn't manifest. Here's an aeroplane with it not manifesting. Here's a hot air balloon with it not manifesting. Here's a drone with it not manifesting. There is no drift. The globe claims wrong. There's no drift to see. And the anti-flat earthers step in and go, we wouldn't expect to see drift. Earth's violating the first law of thermodynamics with its gas that's not contained, violating the second law of thermodynamics, moving in lockstep to give us no effect to see. No effect that the globe claims we would see, says the anti-flat earther.
Did you see an happy birthday for yesterday, Mitchell? Did you see Mitchell's show yesterday live from the drone?
It sounds like it was a really good one. He's the second person to mention it to me, and I didn't actually catch it yesterday.
That was brilliant. He used 2 full batteries. So basically, all the stuff that you were hoping to see when Ranty got his drone, Mitchell finally used this for the same purpose, and it was great to see. But in respect to exactly, lockstep air moving, just seeing that drone and how still it was, it just fixed there.
Sorry, hang on a second.
The impossibilities of a lockstep atmosphere.
You poisoned this by mentioning Ranty. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, I assisted him in a crowdfunding to get a drone. Now, regardless of which side of the fence he sits on, which frankly in this context, a YouTube context, I can give a crap about, he's still a YouTuber who did a YouTube GoFundMe to get a drone. So regardless of what he's claiming alongside the images, he's actually still producing images from his drone though, isn't he? He crowdfunded one.
I don't know, I never saw him. I know that wasn't a direct dig at Ranty. It was more, we'd been waiting for this to see a flat earther with a drone doing bits and bobs.
Oh, okay. Well, it may be the case that you can still get that from Ranty. I just don't want to poison the well necessarily, because as far as I'm concerned, he's done a Ranty, he's done a GoFundMe to get a drone, so therefore he's gone and got a drone. I mean, it was shortly after that I disassociated myself from him, so I don't know. But one would assume that even though he's going to be saying, look, this proves the globe when he sends his drone up, he's still going to have some footage that you can have, to make your point with. I'm sure he's got some, right?
Don't know, I'd not seen it. And that was like I say, well, that was more the point with this kind of David Weiss has done a little bit, but actually, see, Mitchell's going out there and actually taking readings and stuff that me and 10th are going to start to use.
Awesome.
So it's more like it's been a long time coming. Was my point? It wasn't.
No, I got you. It was a long while ago that we did a GoFundMe to get round to your drone, and then a long period elapsed, and then he changed sides. But in between, I wasn't even keeping in touch with him when he was still a flat earther. I disassociated myself from him long before he switched sides.
We didn't get anything even from that, did we? So that was the point. It's been a long time waiting for, again, the potential to get decent quality information. So we're doing some Horizon bits and bobs, just looking at this dip angle and seeing what effects we've got, with Horizons. Do they move? Do they not move? And just I think Mitchell mentioned last night as well, doing some back calculations. So he's going to take the drone up, take a picture of himself and the horizons with the drone, but also take some sextant measurements of the drone at known heights and distances. So just some
very good
getting to know your stuff. Yeah.
So check it out on Mitchell's show. I shall certainly be doing so. Checking out yesterday's live show. Be Here or Be Sphere on the Mitchell from Australia channel. Hopefully you'll all check it out. We interrupt this housekeeping session to say please share the show. 100 people watching. Jolly good. Thank you very much to all of you who have shared to acquire the 100 people that are actually here. But if you haven't already, please share the show. That is the only reason we have an audience at all, because of the people who share the show. So, yep, please smash that share button. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Have they gotten past looking at stuff? Any of that stuff up there? Can they do anything but look at it?
They can name it.
Like astronaming.
Oh, therefore science.
Like astronaming. Like astronomy.
Yeah, I thought you said any viable hypothesis. I was like, what?
Yeah, that is what I said. Any single viable
yeah,
hypothesis.
that's what he said.
That is exactly what I said. Shocking.
Say it again, Nathan, for those in the back.
For those who are uninitiated in this, it just might go over their head. So back in 2015, 2014, we were all told science proves you're on a sphere. In fact, the whole body of science proves you're on a sphere. Fast forward to 2021. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics. Any.
I thought you said Bible.
Viable, as in not. For an example, when I say viable, I mean if you've got an independent variable in your hypothesis, which it must, then it can't be something that is made up or not capable of manipulation, or not your independent variable, not the presumed cause. It's got to fulfill a certain number of criteria to be classified as an independent variable. So, for instance, if they say, if gravity as an independent variable, then we'll say, hello, you're going to need to show us that. And it's no longer claimed to be a cause, hasn't been for 107 years. It's now claimed to be an effect, but only an effect in a pseudo-Riemannian 4 space dimension that we don't exist in. So that wouldn't be viable, just as an example. But is there any? We were told the whole body of science proves you're on a sphere. Well, there's your science. Where's the hypotheses? Not even asking for an experiment. Come on. Nothing? Really?
There is one person in the chocolate that might be able to provide an answer for that now. Captain Science.
What? Captain Science?
Well, I am science.
I'm science.
Wow, the true embodiment of reification then.
Yes.
Yes, by far.
Go on, Chop.
Okay, who wants to break down what a reification fallacy is? Just for this example, because it's typically used in slightly different contexts, not a person. Normally we're dealing with people who reify models into reality, right? But go on, Chocolate.
The fallacy of misplaced concretedness, meaning giving reality to something that's not reality.
Hypothesization, very difficult word to say.
Basically, yep.
So in this case, science is a method. It doesn't have lips, it doesn't have lungs, it's not capable of speech, it's just a method of inquiry. It has a process, steps, that must be fulfilled. That's what science is. So if you say, I am science, that's reification.
It's also a sign of desperation, of you clinging on to the supposed authority you thought you had. So we have in the flat earth realm, we've got great examples of that, rumpus getting to the point, the whole body of science. But in society, and this is the point, it's happening now in the real world as somebody who's been giving advice for treatment of certain things, and his rhetoric is falling apart. He's descended to that same level of ad hom to his critics and made this statement. I think Chocolate probably phrased it, be able to word it exactly. He was sharing it with us yesterday, but we've been saying it's interesting how the stuff we've learned on this flat earth journey, the debating, you're listening now in the mainstream and you spot the same rhetoric being used.
Yep. It's so relevant. Especially when you got a clown like that saying things like, well, I represent science, right? So if you go against me, everybody that goes against me, well, you're not really going against me, you're going against science because that's what I represent.
Right.
I mean,
it's a magic trick.
audacity of this guy.
It's a magic trick that offers them a certain degree of power if to the uninitiated, or it's not even the uninitiated, because I'm going to break down the steps that gets people to this stage of reification to employ the power, which is actually magic, of this language being scientific vernacular. So at a very early age, you're taught what science does, empirically proves things. So just to give a very brief summary, the method itself has a null that is the complete antithesis of your prediction of cause. So you predict that A causes B. You also have a null, which is you predict A does not cause B. At the end of experimentation, only one can be proven, and while some will assert science doesn't prove anything, that's all it can do at the end of the experimental stages. I.e., you can either prove that A does cause B, or it does not. Both can't simultaneously be true, so it proves things. You taught that at a very early age. Sorry to give the little segue, but it is worth it. Further to that, once you are well and truly under the understanding that science means proof, you're in your Western world education and immediately then ferried away from that into a doorway that's got science over it and taught about things like heliocentrism. A lot of maths is also taught under the banner of science. It's not, but that's what you'll be very quickly taught after you're completely aware that science means proving things. So then when you're in the banner of a science classroom, you're under the misapprehension that things that are being discussed are proving things. Now, as life goes on and people progress into positions and PhDs and doctorates and all the rest of it, they then take on this embodiment of the idea that anything that they preach and say means science, means proof. Because they're aware that when they say the word science, people respect and pay attention to what they are saying. Along comes us, pointing out that there's a reification fallacy involved when you say you are science, when it's actually a method of empirically validating the cause of an effect. It's incredibly narrow. But that narrow proof-based methodology can be used as a magic trick to assert that when you do some maths, you're actually doing some science, and that will leave the person who's relatively uninitiated because they were not kept up to speed with what science is, in fact quite the reverse, leaves them to believe that whatever they've told you with whatever maths they've presented is science, and it simply isn't the case. Lots of people are guilty of it. Most people are completely unaware of that use of a magic trick. Some people cotton onto it and they get told that they're utilising a magic trick because they haven't actually validated cause and effect relationships with hypothesis-based experiments, and then they rebel against it because they know that they're going to lose their power, because that's what it offers. You know, having a PhD at the end of your name and then saying this is science will mean that people will respect what you say. often just believe it carte blanche. That's my jibber jabber over about the indoctrination process and why people will claim they've got science or even claim they are science because it gives them power, misplaced power. So, no single viable hypothesis from any of these heliocentric punting nonsense-based departments, then? Moving on. Any evidence of the R value? That'd be Earth radius. No, you can't say you're going to need R for that, Adam, but you can say it if you want to.
No. I was trying to think of something witty to say because I was about to say that and then realised, well, that's nonsensical.
Well, no, I'd got something lined up if you did say it. That's why I was kind of hoping you.
Oh, okay then. You're going to need R for that.
Oh, what, like Rufy, when he uses R to derive R to give you a new R that's based on a refracted R. That kind of use of R to get R.
That's very useful, yeah. I suppose, yeah. If you've already got R, it's a lot easier to backwork calculations to show R. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need a geometric horizon for that, though, aren't you?
Well,
Why would they be looking? Why would they be looking for R if it didn't exist?
It only exists in the maths. Seriously, that's what they've told us. That's your answer. It only exists in the maths.
So the geometric horizon, the one that we were told for years and is still being told to kids today, is that blocks boats and buildings in the distance, that only exists in the math.
Yes. For clarity, to summarise, Earth curve, that would be the geometric horizon, the very thing they claim blocks boats and buildings and give you a clarity value without perspective in feet and inches for how much things are blocked by the geometric horizon. That would be Earth curve, only exists in mathematics. That means it does not exist in physical reality.
Therefore, it's only a thought experiment.
Being on a globe is just an idea. That's right. It's an idea of how you might perceive the world. You can have this idea based on a model of how the world could be perceived. And that idea is that you're on a spherical surface. Unfortunately, there is no geometric horizon, and you'd have to have one of those if you were actually on a sphere. We're just not. And everything we measure, move around with, and experience in day-to-day life shows us that it is in fact flat. That would be Earth.
Maybe we should just take some geometric considerations.
Yeah.
And that'll bring the geometric horizon into fruition.
With
Precisely.
regards to Rufy's proof and the geometric horizon, it is imperative that the horizon is geometric, yeah, in Rufy's proof of R, which he starts with R. But that is a fundamental of the maths that he's using. It is the defining statement of what you're going to derive, is that horizon is the leading edge of a ball. Why? You just laugh and go black swan. But yeah, that is its premise. The whole premise for the maths to work is that the horizon is the leading edge of a ball of radius 3959.
Yes, and
But
you'll need a geometric horizon for that. But just moving back to what Chocolate just said, in terms of taking geometric considerations, that's correct. If you dig far enough into the heliocentric priesthood and rhetoric, by then you're borderline anti-flat Earth, by the way, then you'll find that the geometric considerations must be taken when you're well aware of how flat Earth is. Yep, only exists in the maths. You can take it as under geometric consideration that you're on a sphere, though. Obviously, that's not in physical reality. Go ahead, whoever it is.
Oh, I was going to say the logic behind it too would be an affirming the consequent. Even if the horizon appeared to be geometric in all of our observations, it would still just be an affirming the consequent. It wouldn't prove anything.
what you're saying is if we did have a geometric horizon, I don't follow.
If the horizon appeared to be geometric, we still measured everything flat. Even if it appeared to be geometric, it's still an affirming the consequent when you put it into a logical consistency.
I see. Yes, you're correct. Well, that is what they do. So that is the claim, right? So the claim is an affirming the consequent. If the Earth is a sphere, we'll see a geometric horizon, a limitation to our view. We do see a limitation to our view. Therefore, Earth's a sphere.
It's just that affirming the consequent failed, and that's how you got the black swan.
Yeah, but that statement doesn't hold up very well after somebody says to us that the only way you could see the geometric horizon is if the atmosphere disappeared magically somehow or another. So how is this atmosphere that's never done that, how is that working out? Since it's always here and it's always causing light to be refracted always everywhere all the time. How does that work?
It doesn't. That's the essence of the black swan. They need a geometric limitation to their view at radius 3959. That would be Earth curve. Without Earth curve, there's no Earth curve.
The Earth curve that, aka geometric horizon, that 5 minutes we established ago that only exists in the math. That's
correct. Yeah. The one that only exists in the maths actually does only exist in the maths. Like, in reality, we don't have Earth curve. It just exists in mathematics. Last but by no means least, for all of you are thinking, we got pictures from space, haven't we? Why would we need to confirm any of this from the ground? You're all just idiots. We've seen Earth from space. Any evidence we can have gas pressure? That would be the air we're breathing in and out of our lungs, without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon.
No, but I have a question, because Chocolate said if the atmosphere disappeared. Well, their atmosphere has disappeared because we don't have sphere-shaped air, correct?
Correct.
So we should see it then.
If the sky was a vacuum, we'd all be dead, Neil.
Yeah.
Correct.
You're going to need
maybe
parabolic
we're dead
gas
now and just
behavior.
still debating.
Sorry, Chop.
Hold on, we've got a Bitcoin gag. Go ahead.
No, Bitcoin gag. I said you're going to need parabolic gas behavior for that.
Maybe you didn't realise, Adam. The guy who came was after Bitcoin.
Oh. I'm such a spaz. It's because I talk in crypto with Chocolate. Sorry. I thought wrong trade, but no. That's basically the crux of how they're contorting and trying to remove the necessary antecedent by denying, in this case, denying gas behavior and describing it as parabolic.
Yeah, it's parabolic manoeuvre as assuming that you've got sphere-shaped air, and the reason it's sphere-shaped, it's like, yeah, more than anything else, the moment they say atmosphere, then they've got sphere-shaped air. All right, arbitrarily forms sphere shapes, does it? Can you show us that? Oh, well, yeah, look, there's the sky. And I assume we're on a sphere, and I assume we're in a vacuum, so therefore, there you go. Sphere-shaped air in a vacuum. Any problems? No? Yeah. That violates the second law of thermodynamics. If the sky was a vacuum, it'd be a vast space for that gas to fill, and fill it must. It's called entropy.
I'm just wondering why Adam isn't able to coin a phrase since he talks crypto.
My head's in bits.
Anyway, I think I'm having an effect on my son, Nathan, because last night at dinner, he no longer told me how the Earth is a sphere. He told me Earth is hollow. So that's his new thing now. So I think he understands that Earth is flat, but now he's looking for another get around flat Earth. So he's telling me all about this hollow Earth theory.
Let me get it straight. Your son's looking into Dick Earth.
Correct. Hollow Earth.
Yeah,
Hey, Neil.
They got relabeled in 2017. I can't remember who it was to give credit, but basically this whole new religion that was basically just just Dick Earth. Transposition of a concave assertion. So as soon as any concave would come into the room, you'd be like, I believe in Dick Earth. Obviously, it's a difficult theory to swallow, but, you know, I still believe.
Oh, gosh. I didn't know that.
I almost forgot about the concavers. Now, that's the reverse curvature. Anybody got signs of reverse curvature?
Yeah, the inverse bend law.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, people! So people don't think that other people and things and places and water all exist antipodal underneath their feet. Now they think that's happening above their heads.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Hello, Black Swan proves Dick Earth.
Facts.
I think Black Swan kills curvature either way. Whether curving up or curving down, it kills it either way.
Absolutely. I love saying the same exact things to the concavers. You're going to need R for that. Yeah, they don't like having to refute the exact same rebuttals that the Black Swan provides for a globe Earth. The concavers don't like that one bit, because they're basically treated like globers at that point, aren't they?
The concavers have got a bit of... They've spotted that light isn't bending down. That if you look at J. Tolan Media's work, you'll see if it does anything, and even the Lake Balaton data, if you look at that, if light does anything across the flat plane, it bends up a little bit. So that would be the excuse, I would think, for the son to tell him to go look at the, I say, Lake Balaton data for your son if he wants to evidence towards it. But again, all of this is optical. We're trying to assign optical effects and trying to designate that as a function of the surface, which is odd when we know it's optical. But I think with regards to what you were saying, Nathan, I mean, the Black Swan does. Because if you're going to put a bend, whether it's up or down on it, it's not going to follow that perspective law. You're going to see the bend, especially at those sorts of distance, it play out. And yeah, so I'm afraid, concavers, Black Swan.
To their credit, and I said this on a previous show when I was moaning about people attacking people on our own side, was to say that they're a lot further along a road that normie General Joe isn't on at all. So, you know, they're obviously going to be acutely aware that there's a deception at play, and probably have investigated various different aspects of their general normie life to find out that they're not true also. That is typically the case with most of the concavers I've ever had any interaction with whatsoever, and they're also quite boastful of how they're exposing various different lies better than the flat earthers do. So you're like, okay, so you're on this tip. There's no two ways about that. And that's a more extreme version of, you know, me saying, you know, why are we attacking flat earthers? Because they think incoherent dielectric acceleration gives them a downward bias. Who cares? You know, at least they've recognised that there's a massive amount of deception in the world. So therefore, they're so much closer to us on the path we're on than normies at the top of the hill throwing rocks down at us, calling us idiots, that surely they're just not worth our time. And in many ways, the same applies to concavers. You're like, why would I dedicate any time to this? I'm not going to change the Western worldview by debating with a concaver. And it's nice to be able to just put an end to the discussion pretty quickly.
Just
so
to
hold
bring
on,
back
my
to you,
son.
Nick.
So wait, should I be happy that my son
Yeah.
is a concaver?
No, well, this is what I was going to say. I think, you're making progress, right? He's clearly recognised that the ball rhetoric is incorrect. He probably just can't quite bring himself to maybe agree with his dad fully yet. But he'll get there, won't he? So if he's got to embrace a bit of concavity to reject the ball first, at least he's recognising the errors in the ball, even if he's, maybe it's just not necessarily wanting to fully agree with you at the dinner table just yet. No.
See, but with that, I don't think he's recognizing the errors in the ball, because with hollow, it's still a ball, right? But I think the important part of that is that he's letting go of the mainstream, because hollow is obviously not mainstream, but far more mainstream than flat earth. right? Well, I couldn't even say that, to be honest. Not now.
No, you can't. Exactly. You can't. So while you're focused on getting him to understand and appreciate the nature of reality from that aspect, that would be a flat plane, and he's not, there's going to be cursory things that you've not even given the slightest bit of attention that are going to be going across his path just because he's around what you're looking at. Now, you might not be forcing the issue with various other things that are being discussed in this arena, and therefore he just hears them and goes, yeah, okay, you know, enough to go, I'm going to look at other alternatives. It's like, to me, what you've described today is a breakthrough with your son. Now, you might be going, oh, but it's concaver. Well, just have a bit of fun with him. Like we have, Dick Earth, etc.
Concavity solves one of the housekeeping questions, doesn't it? Because if you think of that one, it's everything's inside of a sphere.
Gas
So
pressure.
you've at least got containment. So the question of how do you have gas pressure, maybe that's why he's thinking, well, that's possible.
That's what they
Still
throw
a
at me
ball.
in the chat. That is exactly what they throw to me. Yeah, we don't have that problem with gas pressure without a container now, do we? Concave Earth for the win. And you're like, yeah, okay, you're going to need half of that. But, you know, yeah, nice that you've recognised that you need containment for gas pressure. And yeah, your model that you've reified into existence, concave though it may be, doesn't have that problem. What that problem that is irrelevant on a model? Not really a problem for Globe Earth either, is it now, given that the Western world all believes that you can have gas pressure without a container stuck to the side of a sphere in a vacuum? So is it really a problem that that doesn't work in the model for the Globe Earth, but does work for your model, given that the Western world have kind of ignored that? So no, not really. They're both models that you've reified into existence, and you actually think you're stood on the inside of the model, don't you? Yeah, you're not. Meanwhile, an aspect that doesn't tell us about the shape of the Earth, an aspect is that it's flat, demonstrably flat.
They also don't have to
Why do you
worry
call
about
it
the molten iron
concave dick
core.
Earth? I'm a little confused about that.
No, Dick Earth isn't anything to do with concave. It's just the next evolution. You know, I was once there. I was once a concaver.
okay.
Now I've progressed to Dick Earth. You might progress too if you're a concaver. You're just not with us yet. You'll be there soon.
Did you ask the gravity question already?
I did.
Dang it. Never mind.
Look, everybody's got a bit of concave in them. You know, Arwen drops it in subtly so people don't give him crap. And really, we've all got a bit of concave in us. We've all got a bit of Dick Earth in us. You know, Arwen's talking about circumdicular navigation. He drops that in so people know subtly, without having to challenge him on it, what he's talking about. And, you know, I think we're all going to have to just come clean now. If you're a Dick Earther, just come clean. I'm proud. Arwen, just come clean. Everyone needs to know. There's transparency needed here.
All right. By the way, I'm having a night owl show this evening to save the early bird show. So if anybody's interested, starting in 2 hours and 20 minutes from now, if I don't get enough funds in support in some way this evening, I will literally not be able to pay my rent this month, and that means I'm going to be kicked out of the house, and the early bird show is going to halt forever.
Do you mind?
For
This is
your
my
information.
street corner. I'll be the one e-begging here, bitch. Get off my corner.
Yeah, it's very funny, except it's real, right? This is not my monitor breaking down or my fridge. This is literally me going to get kicked out of the house if I don't get enough funds together.
Fair enough. So you're going to run a little night owl show and raise some funds for rent. Fair enough.
Pimp it properly then, Owen.
But I think people would you know, appreciate some transparency before you do that in terms of your affiliation with Dick Earth.
Well, you know, if you go by the micro-macro concept, well, so many people on Earth are dicks, so that the Earth would be literally a dick in itself only makes sense.
That was pretty much the thing that progressed me on from concave Earth. I agree.
What time are you going to have your show, Arwen?
2 hours and 15 minutes from now.
Stealing my slot.
Just, you can join me too.
I'm live from India at 5:30. So I'll come and join you later on, but
Okay, got a better time? You know, it's not like it's set in stone already.
well, no, I'll come and I'll be there in chat. I might super chat you a little bit, but
because I don't want to like. There's so many shows, and I don't want to like move all over everybody. But I gotta pick a time somewhere, and it can't be in the middle of the night because I'll just be too toasty to do anything.
You'd be better off doing it after Flat Earth School. I will get Mitchell to send people over as well and do it.
What time is that?
I'll be just after 8, won't it, when Mitchell finishes?
Oh,
So
okay.
8 till 9 for you, isn't it, at Mitchell's?
That would be 9, probably.
Yeah, 9
10.
for you. Then.
All right, I'll do that.
Okie dokie. Fortunately, we'd finished housekeeping anyway, so no issues. But yeah, join Arwin for his Night Owl show on the Arwin channel. ARWIJN. Be here or be sphere.
So, Nathan, you got 15 minutes left in the live show. What were you going to show us?
I've showed it in the pre-show. Weren't you around?
I thought weren't you going to test something and see if you're going to show it now or not?
No. Once I upload, okay, for the audience's benefit, in the pre-show I played Rob Durham's video, but he's used someone else's material, so I just want to upload it once the after show's finished. So the members only show, if there's an issue with it, I'll know not to play it on the live show. Do you know what I mean? So I might play it tomorrow. But watch this space. I'm sorry to be cryptic with the audience. For the audience's benefit, this wasn't intended to be cryptic, but we've got permission to play a video where, using AutoCAD, Rob Durham basically breaks down our claims that we've been making. And it's not for a very long period either. It's for the last 3 days, in terms of a concise housekeeping question at least. And the last year, in terms of us talking about the sextant. But that's sort of culminated into a concise summary, which was agreed with by Rob Durham, but with, a nice pictorial example of how it does match up with what we're saying, so you can see that visually. Very good. Also, he points out how you can't not transpose the circles of equal altitude back onto a globe. It doesn't work, which is a massive revelation. Awesome new information that I was completely unaware of until Adam shoved it under my nose. Now, I won't quote the filth that Adam said when he in the way he phrased how excited he was about this particular piece of information, but needless to say, he was very excited.
Yes, I was. Have you seen it, Arwen? I think you'll like it as well. Particularly as the way it works on a Mercator map, it's going to mess with your head, because it's almost like, if you take that works, then we've got a rectangular looping model. Is the easiest solution.
Just had an idea. Owen, have you got the ability on your show to play video and audio?
What do you mean?
Can you play a video on your show and have the audience see and hear it at the same time?
Well, it would be like just a video screen, but yeah, the sound usually does come through fine.
Fine, as in through your microphone. Does it come through?
No, as in great, as in perfectly fine without any kind of issue.
We play through
I just play a window from the browser.
I've got a suggestion. If you're happy to play a video in your stream and know that it will be of sufficient quality, then I would suggest that you get the exclusive on it. Rob's given us, that's all of us. We are Flat Earth Debate, you are Flat Earth Debate, and correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, he said, yeah, if you can play, or Flat Earth Debate can play. God, I'm being really weaselly with words. Hope he's not watching.
Yeah. I think Rob will be, and I don't think he'd have any issue with that information going out tonight on Arwin's show as something for the fundraiser. I think that would be great.
Sure. I'll do anything, right?
Well, just hear us out then.
Go on naked, but
just hear
I'll
me
get
out
you
then.
Guys on. I'll play a video. I'll promote your channel. I'll do whatever it takes.
No.
Just
hear me out, Owen. What you will be doing is presenting what we've discussed on the show. I don't know if you were here when we played it just before. I think you joined just after we'd played it. Maybe, I can't remember. Either way, it will be aired for the first time by you. It's a video that hasn't been published yet, and we've discussed at length on this show. But it means that a public audience, as opposed to my members or whatever, get to see it for the first time on your show. Now, you're a major part of this, like everyone else who's on the panel regularly, and therefore it would be nice, as you've got something to offer as an exclusive, to have that for a reason for people to go. Because there's going to be people who are like, I'm not interested in going e-begging, and I'm the same when I say it to my audience. I appreciate that there's plenty who like my information and like the audience and like the chat and like the panel and like the topic, but they don't like giving me money. Fine, that's all right. I only want the people who want to give me money to give me money. If you're not one of them, that's fine. And you won't be someone who goes to Arwin's stream. However, if Arwin's got an exclusive video that's very, very well sorted and interesting and controversial and globe destroying, then that may get people to just come to your stream, and they might smash the share button for you, which might get you somebody who does want to give you money. So I would say play that video as an exclusive, and I'll plug it now if you're going to say, yeah, I'll definitely play it as an exclusive, and then that'll hopefully drive an audience to your fundraiser, if that makes sense.
Okay, sure. I'll do it.
Cool. So be here or be sphere for Arwin's exclusive Rob Durham expose, which he's kindly given Flat Earth Debate, which obviously Arwin is part of. Rob, if you're watching, I know I'm a weasel. I'm a total weasel. But Arwin will play it, and you can go and see that for the first time on Arwin's show. If you're watching this now, there's 125 people watching. So if you smash the share button, thanks. If you haven't, please smash the share button here. But go and check it out. It'll be in a couple of hours. Just over 2.5 hours on ARWIJN, that's Arwin's YouTube channel, and hopefully he'll tease you a little bit and then play it out, and maybe you'll throw him a buck or two to help him out in the meantime.
How do you spell his name? Rob
Durham.
DURAM?
HAM.
HAM, yeah. We'll send you the link though, Arwin.
Okay. I got it. Because now I put it in the title, so.
Right on. So as a what would you call it? A teaser. Here's a bit of a teaser of what Arwin's going to be playing to you.
I want to talk about sextant navigation. Now, I know the guys over at Flat Earth Debate have been speaking about this for quite some time now, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything that they say, and I'll...
all you need to hear.
Perfect.
There we go.
Cool.
So you will get the full exclusive 9-minute video over on Arwin's show later on today. So be here or be sphere. That's enough plug for you, Arwin. Get off my corner.
Thanks.
Only I get to e-beg here.
I gotta admit, nobody promotes your channel like you, Nathan.
Or like Arwin. Arwin spends plenty of time sending his audience over to me and talking about the show and talking about what we do here. So, gotta
every
return the
single
love.
show, yeah. Every single show.
Exactly. I hope you get some good support. We have got an excellent community in that regard, and I often put my hand out and disclose that I make a living from doing this, and sometimes doing it as a living isn't great because it doesn't always make ends meet. So I can totally relate. Anywho, back to the guy who lied to us about wanting to learn. That seems like such an outrage the more I think about it. On the one hand, I'm so grateful that he was like that because I was much more even-tempered with him, which made the show a lot more airable, listenable, whatever. There's a lot less tyranny than there might have been if he'd just disclosed, yeah, I'm here because I've fulfilled the criteria for DITRH's 3, confirmed, Bitcoin. A life-changing sum of money.
I texted David last night. He was in the Globebusters chat last night. And I did say, is that the best quality you've got, what you sent over? We want more of a challenge.
Death.
Well, at least people that are honest of what they're there for.
Yeah. And then again, I've been quite open about the fact that I will have very little tolerance for the people who are here trying to get Bitcoin.
I think the next person that comes in going, I'm here to learn, gas go down, go boom booms, going to get rumbled a bit quicker than the last the last guy.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what?
So nobody saw the video from Globebusters.
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
That sounds ominous.
Gas does go down, go boom boom, Nathan.
Oh, God.
You didn't see the video, eh?
No. Do you want to fill me in?
Where does
I
it do
figured that
that?
was my perfect cue to just open my mic and let you guys know that gas goes down, goes boom, boom. And you need to watch the video.
Just tell us. You're now playing devil's advocate for this claim.
Oh, he shows how gas goes down, goes boom, boom. You're going to have to watch it, bro.
Just tell us.
All he uses a couple different gases. He calls you guys retarded. He uses sulfur hexafluoride, of course, showing that one. He also uses an old little trick, I guess we used to do in school. I don't remember, but I probably did do it. Vinegar and I think it's cornstarch or corn.
They're gases, are they?
I think it's bicarbonate.
So you mix them together, right? And it creates.
Baking soda.
You mix them together. You mix them together, and it creates a. I guess they're saying carbon dioxide, and then you just pour it out. And they were just pouring gas into different containers, and then pouring them out, and putting out candles with it, and just pretty incredible stuff. They were also showing electrostatics, where this dude was putting out candles with his fingers because he was charged. A very interesting video. I never thought I would ever come in here and say Bob Canotto is crushing you. But guess what?
Hey, hold on. Hold on.
No. Hold on, John. Hold on. Hold on.
He's not.
Hello, triggered people on my panel. Hello. Go on, Harp. Was there anything you wanted to summarise? Feel free. You're saying Bob Noodles handing us her own ass. How sweet. You want to summarise? If that's it, that's it. Fair enough. Harp, go ahead.
I saw it. Watched the video. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I had this feeling. I just checked my notifications because I didn't see anything, and it does that sometimes. And I'm like, oh, Globebusters, this is an interesting title. I bet you he's talking about gas and statics. And I was damn right. So by 4:33 a.m., I had it posted in the chat here already.
Okay, my only question to you is this. Do you agree? Because you intimated.
I saw what was happening, and I can't refute it.
So you think you saw gas go down, go boom, boom, right?
You want me to
been
refute
seeing it. Here's the thing. Gas does go down.
Just let Harp have his moment.
Gas
go ahead,
does.
Harp. Nobody interrupt him.
Gas does go down. Gas does go down. I've been watching that happen. I know it just separates and does it. That is, I don't see the gas afterward. So to say that gas does not go down, go boom, boom, is retarded.
Oh, wow.
Because it actually does go down, go boom, boom. Now, it may not stay that way.
Hold on.
But it does do
Hold on. It may not stay that way. That's a bit of a disclaimer.
That's correct.
Stay that way. So how did it get that way? We'll have to find out in the after show. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show. We'll find out how retarded we are in terms of gas go down, go boom, boom. However, if you are watching live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!